Alright you guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over and sharing with you guys exactly why I personally do not buy or invest into dividend paying stocks. And we're also going to be covering, what is a dividend stock for anyone who's like, maybe new to investing or never even heard of a dividend paying stock. So we're going to cover that. And as we're getting into this video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys, would drop your opinion on dividend paying stocks down in the comment section below. I'd love to get your opinion. Like, are you a dividend investor? Do you invest in dividend paying stocks? Or do you agree with me? Like, hey, no, I don't invest in dividend stocks. Like, let me know your overall thoughts and opinions, on dividend, paying stocks and companies down in the comment section below. And while you're go ahead and, drop those comments, if you guys enjoy, personal finance content, content around money, credit cards, things like that, content around growing, your net worth and wealth for yourself, be sure to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right side of your screen, because that way you'll be notified by YouTube each and every time I upload and publish a video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Alright, so first and foremost, like I said, we're going to cover, what is a dividend or what is a dividend paying stock. So with just keeping it very basic, very simple, and not spending too much time on this subject, dividend stocks or dividend paying companies are companies that tend to be much more mature companies, that are publicly traded companies within the stock market, that rather than being a company that takes their profits, and rolls them back into the company looking to grow and expand the business, they are companies that instead, because they are more mature companies and that they are not growing as fast, in order to attract new investors, to invest within their business, they pay out what is called a dividend. So a dividend is a cash payment, that is paid out to investors for every single share that you own of their company. So if you, for example, buy one share of company, whatever, imaginary company X, and then they pay out $1 in dividend per share, and they typically pay it out every single business quarter, and then there's 4 business quarters. So then typically you're going to receive, like in this example, you would receive 25 cents every single business quarter for every single share that you own of that company X, right? Like that imaginary company. So that's like your basic rundown of like, what is a dividend? It's some money that is paid out to you, the investor, the shareholder, the owner of those shares that you purchased into that dividend paying company. And it's like clockwork. If you are, invested into a really good dividend company, then yes, they're going to pay it every single business quarter. They're going to pay you, in that example, like 25 cents for every single share that you own of their company. And it's going to be every single quarter for as long as you hold those shares. And then typically really good dividend paying companies will raise that dividend, every year or every other year. And then so basically, even if you do nothing, the value of your like shares will go up and up, and the income that you will earn will go up and up. And while yes, dividend companies are like, they're not dead, like they will still grow, but they typically tend to grow significantly slower than, say, growth companies, for example. So now let's go ahead and get into why I do not invest into dividend paying stocks. Alright, so I want to start this off by saying, yes, we're about to talk about exactly why I do not invest into dividend paying stocks, but a quick little side note that I want to make very clear to you guys. The reason why I don't invest in dividend stocks has nothing to do with whether or not I think like dividend type stocks or dividend paying companies are like terrible investments, because that couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of dividend paying, stocks and companies are really great, amazing, very high quality companies and investments to be a part of. Now, let's get into exactly why I don't make those investments into dividend paying stocks. So the reason why I don't purchase or buy or invest into dividend paying stocks is because I am currently, myself personally, I am not in the investing phase of my life where it makes sense for me to invest my money into an asset like a dividend paying company or stock, because when I look at the different assets or the different types of stocks within the stock market, let's just, do a very basic comparison between dividend paying stocks and growth stocks. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier on in this video, dividend paying stocks and companies tend to be more mature companies. So because they're more mature companies, they're not in the phase of business where they're looking to expand so fast, and they're not in the growth phase basically. So they're naturally growing slower. As a result of them being a slower growing business, they're not gonna, like, their share price is not gonna appreciate as fast. So as an investor, you're gonna get less total returns as you are invested into a company that is like a dividend paying stock. So on the flip side, you have something like a growth stock. These tend to be much younger companies. Sometimes they're less proven companies, so there might not be as much of a history. So the stocks trade much more volatile, like they swing very high, very low. But once the company is like, on track and it's like, doing pretty good, and they've kind of got, they got the ball rolling, and it's like, okay, this is a pretty solid, decent growth company. That growth company will significantly outperform, any dividend paying stock, because they're a much younger company. And rather, what a growth stock, and a growth company does compared to a dividend paying company or a dividend paying stock, is that growth company, because they're still young and they need to expand, they need to get big, they still need to go like global. And there could be a very tiny company, and in order for them to get big, they don't want to spend, like, they don't see the best use of their money to be like spent on paying money or cash out to investors. So what they do instead is they take those profits and they reinvest it back into their business, so they can just continue to just like scale up the business bigger and bigger and bigger. And as they grow and become a much bigger company, and one day become a very global, huge, household name, well, then you as the investor all along the way reap the rewards of being an investor in that growth stock. So I mean, like, it's kind of like pretty like black and white, plain and simple here. It's like, so if you're in the phase where, your investing journey, and you're like, all right, well, I want a little more safety. I want, just a lot of like proven history behind the investment that I'm going to get into. And that I just want like that financial security of like some consistent conservative growth added on, on top of that, like security and comfort and growth of knowing that your money is pretty well safely invested into like a real high quality business. So you got like, that comfort. And then on top of that, to know that you're going to get paid out a pretty consistent, solid dividend. I mean, that's what you're going to get, in a dividend paying stock. Now, on the flip side, if you're in the phase where you're like, all right, I want my money to grow. Like, I need my money to grow fast. I'm not focused on trying to have income. I'm not, looking for safety, security, and income. At the end of the day, what I'm looking for is my money to grow as fast as possible while not taking on an unnecessary amount of risk, right? Because you're not going to just go out there and invest in any growth stock just because it's a growth stock. You still want that company to show you, hey, I have a really great product or service or something to offer the marketplace. And then once you recognize it, you're in it. And because it's such a great product or service or whatever, it's just going to explode, right? And then as it does, the returns are going to be, awesome. They're going to be great. And it's going to blow away that dividend paying stock. So it ultimately comes down to what phase of your investing journey are you on? Are you in the phase of, your investing journey where you are looking to get safety, security, and income, and just overall like preserving your money, and then at the same time, getting paid income for holding those shares? So if you basically are like kind of in that like retirement type phase, and you're like, I just want income coming into me, I want to just hold these shares and have income, well then dividend paying stocks to me make a lot of sense, and they could be an awesome investment for that phase of your life and that phase of like your investing journey. And then on the flip side, if you're someone who's like, I'm not in the situation where I need my money to be like, I don't need, income coming in from my investments right now. I could just, kind of sit back and wait some years. I'm young, I can earn money. I'm taking care of myself as far as like, earning income. And the money that I'm investing, I want that money to grow as much as possible. So then later on, when I get to the other phase of my life, when I kind of am ready to like retire or like scale back, the type of work that you're going to do in your life. And then you can then, because you have invested a lot of money and those investments in those growth stocks have grown so much in value, you can then in turn take a very good size of that, of all that like wealth that you built up. And then you could then go ahead and say, all right, now I'm in the phase where I want to take like that wealth and move it over into something more conservative like dividend paying stocks. And then you're like, hey, now I'm in the phase of life where I want to start receiving that income. And because you had like built such a significant amount of wealth with all your growth stocks, when you go ahead and put it into something like dividend paying stocks, you're going to receive like a very, very large amount of income being paid out to you, because you grew like your net worth and like your wealth to a significant number because you were just growing and growing and growing like your wealth over all those years, basically through growth stocks, because you were, invested in like high returns, and you were getting, some very high quality returns by being invested into high quality growth stocks. So ultimately, like, to kind of sum up this video and really just give you like a very clear breakdown on why I do not invest into dividend paying stocks, simply comes down to the phase that I am in my life and on my investing journey. I am not in the phase where I want the income to be coming back to me, that I'm investing into stocks. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to invest my money into some stocks and say, okay, pay me back a small percentage back, quarter after quarter, for the foreseeable future. That's not what I'm looking for, because the sacrifice in doing that is that I'm going to get lower total returns. Whereas if I went ahead and said, okay, I'd much rather have my money grow much more faster, and I'm not going to receive any income or anything else other than just my money growing, that is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm in that phase where I don't want the income, I want my money to grow. And because I want my money to grow, growth stocks is where that's going to be. And I understand that by investing in growth stocks, there's a lot of like volatility, there's a lot of like really high highs, really low lows, but ultimately the returns from growth stocks, typically, as long as you're invested into very high quality growth stocks, they will significantly outperform a dividend paying stock. So now you guys know exactly why I do not invest into dividend paying stocks. I would really like to get your guys' personal opinion on dividend stocks, even growth stocks. Like, do you guys invest in dividend stocks? Do you invest in growth stocks? What do you think's better? Be sure to drop your opinion down in the comment section below. And hey, if you're new here and you made it all the way to this part of the video, obviously you like content like this, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right side of the screen. And if you guys would like to watch another video from me, be sure to click this video here that pops up on the screen, and I will catch you guys in that next video.